went through secondary and I was almost going to the university before this work really got intense, you know. And when I really studied our conventional school system here, it's not like I'm trying to, you know, bring down our educational system here, but I noticed that, you know, like for instance, I noticed that they teach you how to cram some of these principles and theory, you know, but it takes more than just knowing these principles and theories, you know, to bring something out.
To get to his current level, AGHOGHO have had to suffer lots of setbacks, but his passion kept urging him on.
Sometime in '92, I created an aircraft which took me about, I spent about 100 to 120 naira then, you know. It took me about 3 weeks to gather that money. You know, I built the aircraft and somehow I was nowhere close to actual flight, you know. So I tried again around '94. No way. You know, it was then I concluded that there is something spiritual about things that fly, you know. So I took a long break, you know. So, but somehow it was just like a destiny thing, you know. So I couldn't just give up completely. So the thing kept bothering me. Guy, even if this thing is spiritual, even if not witchcraft, somehow, maybe people get the witchcraft, you know. So I kind of mustered up courage, you know. Even if it is witchcraft, even if na bottle of water, I will go there and go and bring it out, even if it costs my life, you know. That was my resolution then, you know. So I put some effort again in '97. I created another aircraft, you know, but it didn't fly. But somehow I noticed some changes, you know, and which I now interpreted as, you know, guy, you need some more research. You know, so I took another break, like about 2 years. So I went into serious research, you know, a lot of reading, sourcing for materials on the web and all that. So around '99, I came up with another aircraft again. This time around, I was able to lift it off the ground, but the power source, the battery, you know, I was using a car battery, which required a long wire, you know, so I wish the aircraft couldn't carry from the ground. So it would just move to some point, leave the ground to the extent of the wire to just fall. So, and something funny really happened, you know. I wanted a means of carrying the battery along. So I went to rent a wheelbarrow, you know, put the battery on the wheelbarrow, then extended the wire. So somebody manning the wheelbarrow, then myself manning the plane. Guy, how far? You just said, yes, okay. Then I on the plane so that the wheelbarrow guy would be running alongside. You know, but something funny happened. The guy was just running along with the plane, but he wasn't washing his own part. He was washing the plane, and somehow he stumbled into this capstone and the wheelbarrow somersaulted him, you know. It was funny though, but I was able to come up with something. So, but somehow I was able to lift it a couple of feet off the ground. That was when I said, that wish, when Oyibo shop, I don't shop.
Time for some test flight. AGHOGHO takes it step by step, coupling the parts just to ensure the aircraft were in the right frame for flight.
There's an inbuilt battery here that needs to be charged. So that's what I'm doing now. I need to charge the inbuilt battery that will power the electronics here, you know. So while that is going on, I will need to fuel it. This engine uses a special fuel. Although it's a locally made fuel, I have to prepare that myself. See my filling station? You got it. So it's time to fuel. I don't have problem with fuel scarcity. I don't have problem with 86 per 50 kobo liter. So all the principles and theories of flight
Okay.
as applied to the full size are also applied here.
Okay.
You know, so I'll be talking about that later. So you see the aileron. All these are control surfaces. You see all these ones that are moving.
Okay.
Yeah, this one is, you know, to direct the plane on
Okay.
the roll axis, you know, to stabilize the wings.
Okay.
You know, it's called the roll axis. Then you see the horizontal control surface on the tail. Yeah, it's called the elevator. It's used to control the plane on the pitch axis. That is, if you want it to climb or dive. Okay. Yeah, that's the elevator. Then you see another vertical one moving left, right there. It's called the rudder. You see that? It works like your normal steering in a car, yeah, to steer the aircraft left or right.
But takeoff and landing were seamless and fast.
All right. Right of the green, cleared for takeoff. Let's go. Let me show you something about maneuverability.
Okay.
You see the realistic airplane air sound coming out.
Now do you?
No. That's called the barrel roll.
AGHOGHO, who has become a ray of hope to other people in the community, shares with us the future of the project.
Imagine buying something like this for a kid, a smaller version, you know, and something that is really, really intellectually demanding in terms of flying, buying it for a kid. Before that kid will learn to fly that plane, that kid can do anything in seconds, because flying this aircraft is really, really demanding intellectually. And in the process, he will have to disassemble, assemble, and all that, you know. So it will make a very, very interactive and intellectually inspiring training tool for a child. Then two, if you look at the flying, even an adult watching the flight, even an adult watching the aircraft flying is also excited, you know, by the sight. You know, the sight of flying the aircraft is a sight to behold, you know. So on the other hand, it can also make a recreational object, you know, for the adult. And as a result, I have built a festival, you know, kind of, I call it National Mini Air Show Festival. You know, sometimes I do attach cameras to my planes, you know, for surveillance purposes. Like I have the whole of this area, the shot of this area, you know, in my camera, you know, just taking the shot around, fly it low, slow, high, just to get shots. And I noticed that it can really make a good surveillance object.
At every point, he has young people around him, and one of his protégés attests to the ingenuity of AGHOGHO.
It taught me so many things, like driving, repairing of many things. Let's say the guy is genius. It's good.
Also on ground is the proud mother who, amongst other things, expresses her joy at his son's talent.
Right from small picking, he never reached 10 years when he started to do this thing. So we will go outside, we go pack all this can, we go cut them. We go kitchen side, we go do them. Now motor first start, it takes starter. So when they do them like that, they not go even care say they eat. So when Papa goes, will say like that, he go say, You know, go come out your hand for this thing. You go flog them. Sometimes you go throw away those things where they do before. We go to say you don't forget about them. Before we know again, you don't go pack them. You go kitchen side. You go carry fire. Go cut the things. You go do them. Not only the place itself, you know. My motor when I take the sell bread. I know they carry and go mechanic place. Anything way wrong for inside. You know, even the one where mechanic not go fit know. You go just detect them. You go do them. Almost how many years I never reach a mechanic place because he know about motor. And he know about the plane. I say he know about the motor.
According to Albert Hubbard, the world is going so fast these days that the one who says it cannot be done is generally interrupted by someone doing it. As it stands, AGHOGHO has not had any form of sponsorship in an era where those who have taken to militancy in the region have enjoyed some form of compensation at one point or the other. But here is the young man who have decided to fly high, the nation's pride, being driven to frustration, if not for his passion which has brought him this far. There is no better time for us as a country to begin to look inwards and harness our creative and intellectual resources everywhere.